Okay, so this is going to be my review of Transformers New Iacon Chronicles. Now, originally this was going to be a fanfiction review I was going to do with the author and my friend Jason Voorhees 2011, who wrote this, but unfortunately things got complicated and I decided to go ahead without him. This way, not to be mean to him, it's just that, the thing is that I know he's busy. He's told me he's had a very busy schedule, and this way nothing would be spoiled because he is doing book 2 of, he is doing another story. He's doing a third story to complement this one. As most of you guys know, he did Avatar Transformers Chronicles, and, Transformers Avatar Chronicles. This is the sequel, which delves into Legend of Korra. And I decided to do this myself, and also, you guys wouldn't be spoiled, and I'll give you some little stuff of what's going to happen, because I helped build that one as I did this. So anyway, Transformers New Iacon Chronicles. This is a Transformers Legend of Korra crossover that follows up Transformers Avatar Chronicles, which is the story, which basically in that one was the end of Book 2 of Avatar, and went throughout Season 3 of Avatar, which was the third book, Fire. And this one is obviously first season of Legend of Korra. Now, a few things are different. Since a little backstory. The Autobots and Decepticons are now on Earth in the world of Avatar. They've been living here for over 70 years now, and the world's changed thanks to them. There's more technology, robots live among people. It's kind of a common thing that now Benders and Cybertronians live together now. And the epicenter of all this is not Republic City. Republic City was not called that. Instead, Optimus, Aang, and Zuko created New Iacon, and the reason why it's called New Iacon is in honor of the Autobots' the Autobot capital on Cybertron. It was named in their honor for helping them win the war. So it's not called Republic City, it's called New Iacon. And more or less this follows the first 12 episodes of Legend of Korra, the first season more or less. And in here, the main focus is of course Korra and her guardian Hot Rod. Yes, Hot Rod is her guardian. In the first chapter, you see that Optimus has charged Hot Rod with guarding Avatar Korra and guarding her. So throughout that, you see the friendship between, and I like how he writes the friendship between Hot Rod and Korra. They're very much alike. They have these very kind of brash looks out life, but also Hot Rod acts as a foil for Korra, because Korra did some really dumb stuff. At least in here, this is what I really like about Jason Voorhees' writing with Korra, because even he doesn't, there are some elements in Korra that even he doesn't like, and I'll get into some of those too, but the reason why having Hot Rod there is someone that he could bounce off of. Hot Rod is like her voice of reason. And yeah, he kind of fixes Korra in some way. Some parts you can't really fix with Korra. But however, with Hot Rod, like when Mako said no to Korra when he was dating Asami, Hot Rod comes up and says, "Look, you've only known Mako for about a few weeks. That doesn't really mean you guys should have a relationship. You've only known him for a few weeks. That doesn't mean you're in love. Wait for somebody." So I really like that that Hot Rod can be Korra's foil and the person that he can always look up to him. Now, a few other partnerships happen throughout this. The other one that we see before, the one we see next is a partnership between Knockout and Asami. Yes, Knockout in this continuity, after the end of Book 3, he joined the Autobots and now works for the Sato family. He's not really accepted by a lot of the other Autobots, but he did find help with the Sato family and became Asami's guardian. He's more or less been Asami's guardian since she was a child, and he even says, yeah, she's the only human I'll ever care about. And personally, it's my favorite partnership because those two really do, because Knockout and Asami really do care about one another. You can obviously see that I think this was his favorite group to write, between partnership. It's not a relationship between Knockout and Asami, it's just a partnership between, they're like really Knockout and Asami are just really close friends. Following that is the partnering of Mako and RC and Bolin and Blaster. Yes. First off, we actually, because here's the thing, me and Jason were talking about this. We were going back and forth about who should be both Mako and Bolin's guardian. Because right off the bat, we thought about Korra and Hot Rod, because they had such a similar story. That was kind of a given. But in Asami, we just thought one night, hey, Knockout is an awesome character. Let's keep him around and, make him Asami's guardian. So there you go. But Bolin and Mako were the tough ones, because we were, and I didn't write for this one, unlike I did with Avatar Chronicles. New Iacon Chronicles, I just co-plotted, and I helped do a lot of co-plotting with the third book. But anyway, getting back to this, with this, the thing is with Bolin and Mako is that it was really tough to find good characters for them, because we were kind of mixing them up, and we were like, ah, man, there's so many characters out there, so many Autobots that we could use for them. But we came to a decision for Bolin first, because I just thought right off the bat, like 10 minutes of thinking it over, I'm like, Blaster would be perfect for Bolin. And like, yeah! And we had this funny little joke in here of when Bolin first meets Blaster. And Blaster transforms into his boombox. Like, here's the thing, like, Bolin is so excited that he gets an Autobot guardian, and then when he meets Blaster, he's like, oh, what can you turn into? He's like, just you wait, my man. He transforms into his boombox form, and Bolin's all, like, disappointed, like, so, where's the vehicle? And, for Mako, it was tough, because we were mixing up with a lot of Autobots with him. Like, we thought about Trailbreaker, thought about Smokescreen, several others, but then we came down to RC, and I think that really works a lot with RC. And those two kind of play off each other very well. We'll see a little more of RC and Mako in here, in the next story. Because, you see, with Bolin and Mako, they don't get their Autobot Guardians until later on. It's just mostly... It is more or less mostly Hot Rod and Korra, and then Knockout and Asami. But yeah, now the villains in here is of course Amon and the Decepticons, but it's not Galvatron leading the Decepticons. It is a Headmasters era villain, and if you know Transformers Headmasters, you'll know who I'm talking about. And he's got quite the plan for New Iacon. He has got a pretty big plan for New Iacon. And Amon is not the same Amon. Since this is a totally different universe, Amon in this story is not related to Tarlok, and he's not human. I'll say no more to that, because his reveal of who he really is, it plays essential into the third story. So keep that in mind. So I'll just leave that out. I'll just leave that out there. A lot of stuff does happen in here, a lot of character stuff. You do see, I will say this, I'm not going to say who, but a lot of characters do die. There is a lot of character deaths in this story. There is a lot of Autobots and Benders who die. Now, it's no, I'm not going to say who on the Bender side or the Transformer side. I'll just let you read. I will let you guys read and find out for yourselves, but there is a lot of death. I mean, this is, I talked to Jason about it, and he told me, look, this is a war. In every war, there's casualties. That's the gist of it. And, yeah. So, I don't want to give a lot away of what happens. You can obviously guess that, yes, Hot Rod does become Rodimus in the chapters. I'm not going to say how and where, how that happens and what happens to Optimus. I'm not going to say that. But yes, because obviously you bring in Hot Rod, yeah, he's going to become Rodimus. So I will say that, but I'm not going to say how that happens. There is some other characters we throw in here. We get the Headmasters. We get a few characters. There's a few Transformers from Armada. There's a few from the G2 series. There's, of course, like I said, the Headmasters. There's the... You even get a few mentions of the Predacons, and not just the Predaking and all them from Prime. There's a few Beast Wars Predacon mentions here and there, and yeah. There are a few other Autobot ones. There's some. It's kind of, like I said, this Transformers continuity doesn't really have a set universe. If anything, it has a lot of stuff set from the War for Cybertron games. So it's more or less playing off of that continuity. But there is a lot of characters from all these different continuities in here interacting with the Avatar characters. Another thing I should have mentioned earlier is that the Metal Benders aren't called the Metal Bending Police Force. They're the Elite Guard, and they're made up of Metal Benders and Autobots. So, yeah. Because it was like, oh man, if we're calling it New Iacon, we gotta call the Police Force something in tribute to the Transformers, so, yeah, the Elite Guard. There's some epic fights in here. There's some really good fights in here. The main villain's big plan is really epic. And I don't want to say more than that because this is a really good story, and I'm really glad I got to help write this. But it was 12% me and 85% him. Like this was like 85 to 90% all Jason. So Jason deserves a majority of the credit. I just did a little. I just co-plotted some stuff and helped him work out a few things. But Jason's the big shot. He was the big brain. A lot of stuff was him. And yeah, another thing I want to mention about this story is that there are a few movie references. Especially, there's a lot of RoboCop references. And yeah, there's a lot of RoboCop references. There's a lot of there's also a Hobbit reference. There's also a Desolation of Smaug reference, and that comes from Shockwave. I'm not going to say what he says, but it's a reference to that. You also get references to Man of Steel, a few things here and there in The Dark Knight Rises. Jason and I just love putting in movie references in these kind of stories, but only when they work. It's not like when they're, just shoveled out. They actually have purpose in these. They actually have good context in this story, so we didn't want to just throw them out there for the sake of throwing them out there. This is what I'm saying. But anyway, so quick things on Book 2, on the third story, which is Book 2, Spirits. Spirits will... I don't want to give a lot away, especially with the villains. Yes, Unalaq will play a role in here, as well as Vaatu. But there will be another key factor villain in here that will be kind of manipulating everything and be the real henchman. There are two other villains in here that will be playing the key big role in helping Vaatu. Unalaq's just a puppet, more or less. They're playing him. They're playing him like a fiddle, more or less. These other two villains are the real allies to Vaatu. Another thing in Spirits is that you're going to see a lot of Decepticons and Autobots that perished come back and either help or destroy mankind. Another thing is that Korra is going to have a lot of more character development. It's not going to be like there's going to be reasons. We're actually giving her reasons why she's acting so aggressive and why she's so temperamental. And another thing is that we're letting the Dinobots are playing a bigger role. Yeah, the Dinobots are going to play a huge role in this story. There's going to be some main focus on them. There's going to be a lot of focus on them. There's going to be some good stories in there with the Dinobots. They're not going to be like the stars, but they are going to play... the Dinobots are going to play a major role in here for the most part. And, yeah. Another thing is that, like I was talking about, yeah, the Predacons are going to be in here. And not just, Skylinks and Darksteel. It's going to be... You're going to see Predacon, Beast Wars era Predacons. I'm not going to say who's going to be in that lineup. It will not be Megatron. Beast Wars Megatron won't be showing up in this story. Notice what I said? He won't be showing up in this story. But, however, you're probably wondering, well, wait a minute, the Predacons in Beast Wars were small. Well, in this continuity, the Predacons are going to be larger. They're going to be bigger. The Predacons from Beast Wars, we're going to amp them up. We're going to make them bigger. Because in this continuity, because again, we're playing Fast and Loose, but our root base is Prime and War for Cybertron. So that's kind of our root base for this crossover continuity. And yeah, you're going to also see you're going to see some enemies come back. You're going to see some You're going to see some heroes come back. Book 2 is going to play a lot in here, and we're building up, and this is going to be more build-up for another villain that we all know from Transformers continuity. So stay tuned for him. So yeah, all in all, this crossover is a lot of fun. It is absolutely worth your time if you're a Transformers fan or you want to read more Legend of Korra stuff because of Book 3. Give it a look. I highly recommend it, not just because I helped write it, but this is I think Jason Voorhees 2011 knows what he's doing when he's writing these characters. He knows exactly what he's doing with this with these stories, and he's having a lot of fun with it. So it's always good to see that. Yeah. Anyway, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And one more thing is, if you read the story, please don't come back here and post spoilers. That would be greatly appreciated if you guys didn't come back here and post spoilers for the story. I will leave a link below for the story itself, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm out.